Well, guys, we are breaking it down, honey. President Trump and his administration has been exposed, y'all. And this is breaking a $140 million scam. We got to talk about this. This is serious. Donald Trump and his administration has been exposed in a $140 million scam. Now, let me kind of give y'all some, information before I show y'all the video. If you are familiar with government contracting, put a one in the chat. If you're not, let me kind of tell you how it works. Anybody can sign up to be a government contractor. However, the rigorous process is not for the weak. So let me kind of give you an example. If you are a new business, it's almost impossible to get the larger government contracts. Well, this has been uncovered. A business that was established 2 days. So we're going to create an LLC, and in 2 days, we're going to apply for a $140,000, I'm sorry, a $140 million contract. The company that was awarded $140,000 had only been in existence for 2 days and was connected to people in Donald Trump's administration. In fact, it belonged to a husband of one of Donald Trump's appointees. Y'all, we got to get into this scam.
Today, ProPublica published quite a scoop about Trump DHS Secretary Kristi Noem that in any era, any other era, I should say, would be a career-ending scandal. But to understand the pattern of corruption of this woman, we just have to zoom out just a little bit, just for a moment. Because since Noem took over DHS at the beginning of the year, she's become known for appearing to be more obsessed with putting on various costumes than doing her actual job. I mean, she donned a bulletproof vest just to talk to her own agents. She wore a Customs and Border Patrol uniform on Fox News. And of course, she is constantly, and I mean constantly, throwing on a cowboy hat and riding horses, always with plenty of cameras around to capture the moment. But Noem's apparent obsession with image actually goes much further than just putting on costumes, because she has directed more than 200 million taxpayer dollars into TV ads to promote her work at DHS. And just to put it in context, that is nearly twice what DHS spent on ads altogether in all of last year. And the content of those ads have already been a scandal kind of in and of themselves.
I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Thank you, President Donald J. Trump, for securing our border.
And if you are wondering who exactly the target audience is for that, DHS spent $30,000 to run that ad, the one I just showed you, specifically in the ad market where Mar-a-Lago is. Now, as much as spending tens of thousands of dollars to make sure your ad plays on the TV near the president is a bizarre waste of taxpayer money, $30,000, it turns out, is a drop in the bucket compared to the more than $200 million DHS has spent this year making and airing ads. And the rest of that money is where the story gets truly bonkers. I mean, since March, we have known that DHS skipped the normal competitive bidding process when giving out the contracts to make and air these ads. DHS claimed that because Trump declared an emergency at the southern border, they didn't have to waste time getting competitive bids. And that brings me to the first part of ProPublica's big scoop today. Because it turns out that the majority of that no-bid contract money, 143 million taxpayer dollars, went to this kind of mysterious LLC in Delaware. An LLC that was created just days before it got that no-bid contract, just days.
Okay, guys, mic drop. Let's connect the dots. Did you hear what was just reported? $143 million was awarded to a company that created their business, their LLC, just 2 days prior to receiving a $143 contract with the federal government. Let me walk this back for y'all because I don't think you guys quite understand what this means. I have done business with the federal government. I am in that management system where they award different contracts. And I'm going to tell you that it's a very rigorous um, process, and they do not award newly established business $140 million contracts. And let me kind of tell you how this works. When the federal government has a need for the service that I provide, they send me an email. In the email, they say, hey, we have this solicitation. If you are interested, go ahead and apply. So, what applying means is that I have to fill out the contract. I'm sorry, not the contract. I have to follow, whatever it is that they're looking for. And then I have to submit my bid and all of my materials for whatever it is that they're looking for. What happens after that, usually they give you so much time to submit it, and then they have a period in which that is isolated, in which they actually look at these applications. What has happened is a new company, a mysterious company that nobody ever knew of, created itself, and then somehow the federal government knew about this company to award them a 100 and what 40 something odd dollar contract, $1 million. Like, this doesn't make any sense. This is absolutely absurd. You're saying that a newly existing company, how would they get $143 million contract with the federal government unless this fake organization was created to steal the $143 million? This does not make any sense.
And the man who owns the home that LLC lists as its address did not respond to ProPublica's questions. Now, when asked why the agency chose that LLC, DHS said, quote, "The results speak for themselves," and then proceeded to claim that Trump has made the border the most secure it has been in American history. Not exactly answering the question. So DHS gave a $143 million no-bid contract to a brand new LLC that no one seems to know anything about. That is obviously a scandal enough to begin with. Then there's this. This is an ad Kristi Noem shot on October 2nd, which, by the way, was the second day of the government shutdown. So while hundreds of thousands of federal workers went without pay, including the nearly 50,000 TSA workers that work under Noem, Noem donned a cowboy hat and had a production company film her riding horseback with buffalo. And whether or not you care about the very weird content of the ad, you should care about who made it. Because according to ProPublica's new reporting, that ad was made by a company called Strategy Group, which is run by a man who is not only the husband of Noem's chief DHS spokesperson, Tricia McLaughlin, yes, she's a something, but also has personal and business ties to Noem herself. And the company's name, Strategy Group, does not appear on any of the public documents about the contract. Instead, the group listed on the contract is the mysterious Delaware LLC that DHS gave that $143 million contract to. I should say that DHS said in a statement to ProPublica that it does all of its contracting by the book. Okay. But the office in charge of funding ad contracts at DHS is the Office of Public Affairs, which is run by none other than DHS spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin. And when she was asked about why DHS ended up using her husband's company, Strategy Group, to make that ad,
walk it back. So this woman who works for the federal government and within Trump's regime, okay, this fraud shit that they have going on with this administration, how is her husband, a company that her husband owns, was awarded $143 million contract, and consequently this lady Kristi Noem is in on this? Y'all, come on now. We're not this damn dumb. I'm going to have to rewind this.
Ad contracts at DHS is the Office of Public Affairs, which is run by none other than DHS spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin. And when she was asked about why DHS ended up using her husband's company, Strategy Group, to make that ad, she replied with this: "We don't have visibility into why they were chosen. I don't know who they're a subcontractor with, but I don't work with them because I have a conflict of interest and I fully recuse myself. My marriage is one thing and work is another. I don't combine them. Well, Tricia, they seem pretty freaking combined right now, don't they? I mean, her husband, the CEO of Strategy Group, Ben Yoho, did not respond to ProPublica's questions. So not only did DHS give a $143 million no-bid contract to an unknown LLC, but that unknown LLC then hired someone tied to Noem, someone literally married to the Noem aide in charge of giving out DHS ad contracts. And believe it or not, this is not the first scandal about Noem and this company, the Strategy Group. See, back when she was governor, Noem's office hired Strategy Group to make these ads. Yet again, a lot of costumes going on here. This is Noem dressed as a state trooper, a construction worker, a nurse, an accountant. Here's Noem dressed as an electrician, a welder, a dentist, and my favorite, a plumber. There were a lot of these ads, millions of dollars worth, paid for by South Dakota taxpayers. Those ads were the result of a bidding process, and the state says the process was done by the book. But ProPublica reports that a former official from Noem's South Dakota governor's office has since alleged that the bidding process was rigged. The former official said that a top Noem aide told them the governor would be angry if Strategy Group didn't win the contract. And then contemporaneous text messages reviewed by ProPublica corroborated that account, showing that senior Noem administration officials pushing for Strategy Group to get the contract. There's all that. Noem, of course, denies those allegations. I should note that MSNBC has not independently verified ProPublica's reporting. But if this reporting is accurate, and it's very detailed, and a company run by someone with personal and business ties to Noem herself has managed to score government contracts, huge ones, from Noem's agency with a no bidding process and literally zero transparency, that should at least very much be a call for an investigation from somewhere, if not cause for Noem to be forced to ride off in the sunset on one of those horses.
All right, y'all. Let's talk. A $143 million contract was awarded to a company that nobody even knows of. The company was created 2 days before being awarded $140 million. Now, this company that was awarded that was awarded the $140 million was owned by a husband of this woman in the middle, one of Donald Trump's employees. And then, of course, Miss Kristi Noem is all entangled in the scam. Now, come on, y'all. Fraud and corruption. Wasn't Donald Trump just telling us how he was going to find fraud and abuse? And it seems like he actually is the fraud and abuse.